Yay!
I've put as live anyway.
Yay!
So it's fast. Hogbrook. And Gillens with him. We'll let him inside. It's obviously his place, and let him see the orc. It's just because they were called the Crimsons. They were called the Crimson Hand or something, weren't they? Red, sorry. Thank you. Yeah, different words. And are these also the ones we suspect of them taking the young lady? Joanna, sorry, yes. And they wanted. And they too were after capturing any magic users. My concern is that we do need to find this girl. And they're certainly very close to Noltec when we met them first. Hmm. No. Definitely. Yes. A hammer in every town. Hmm. No, your help has been greatly appreciated. Thank you. That would be mightily grateful, thank you. No, we searched. Well, we did search them because we got their armor and things, didn't we? Yeah. Taustus is 12. Carmen residence is. Hmm. As we move towards, I want to. Is anybody walking in front of us? I want to try and catch one before they disappear. Say, excuse me, what's going on? Oh, it's all right. Oh, and they're selling everything they own to move on. Hmm. Hmm. You read my mind, Kurgan. You read my mind. One copper piece.
and just say, "Go with it."
Go with it.
But are you with this?
I
Are you with this
recall
Arky
you.
fellow?
We're together, yes. I don't recall you. You may have seen me. Where did you see me again?
On Adrian's farm. And you his labourer?
You may have seen me there.
Kind of squints his eyes a little bit. Wait a minute. You don't have any blue on you, do you?
Blue on me?
Yeah.
Not at the moment, no.
Around you're not him. You look like him, though.
Listen, old man, stop prattling. We'll take it for a gold.
Yeah, all right. Give me the gold.
All right.
Hold your money.
I'll hand it over.
How many kids has he got?
2.
He's got 2.
He's about
Are
to
you going to buy his kids?
12. One's probably 12 and one's probably 6 or 7.
No, but I will take 2 gold out of my purse and 2 silvers, and I will hand it over to the man and say, the silver are for your children. I'm sorry that you've had to move.
Oh well, yeah, so were we. We loved it down there, but the swamp, it's just come out of nowhere this past 12 months, and the mayor doesn't want to do anything about it.
Apart from the encroaching swamp, is there anything else that's changed or is different, or if you notice anything strange happening?
It's just a swamp.
Exactly. So it's just the swamp expanding.
It's just a swamp.
Yeah.
Swamps don't pick up and move.
No, it hasn't done. We've lived there since little Jamie there was born.
No lights in the sky, no noises, no strangers.
No, can't say we have seen anything. Rumour has it fishermen have been going missing down there, but I've not had any trouble.
Well, you could have mentioned that earlier.
Well, you didn't ask me. You just asked about the house.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the area, about dead fishermen, or about why we are wasting our time with you?
Well, yeah, no, the swamp. It just grew
Yes,
out
got
of
it.
nowhere.
It's a swamp. It's growing. It's
Yes.
a walking swamp and dead
Well,
fishermen.
Yes, I just heard the rumours about dead fishermen. Last time I was here in town, apparently a couple of fishermen have been missing, but they didn't come near my place. I don't know if they went to one of the other places, but then I don't know how many of those other places are still there.
Oh dear gods, can we go and speak to somebody else?
He takes your money and he hands you the deed. He says, well, look, here, I don't know how much use it'll be to you, because the last time I left it, it was under about a foot of swamp water. It's probably 2 foot at the rate it was growing.
We got it. Your house is under swamp.
Yeah.
And it will be of no use. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Where is your house in the swamp, and what does it look like, so we know we go to the right house?
Okay, so
It's the one underwater.
it's the one underwater. All right, so
Does it have a bucket?
Okay, his house. Let me bring you to the main map. So his house is in 4118, and it's sort of somewhere in 4. It gives you some directions and some landmarks that you'd be able to follow, but essentially it's in 4118 as a hex.
So it's basically on the cross of the fort.
Yeah.
It's in the opposite direction from what we want, but it seems a bit fishy.
So other than Kurgan and Rage and L'Oreal, can the rest of you give me perception checks, please?
I would say this is something to investigate, but not at the moment. We've got more pressing matters.
Yeah, I think we should save the girl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a rather well-dressed man, sort of on the edge of proceedings. He seems to have a couple of guards with him wearing sort of chain shirts or chain mail, carrying spears, shields. He's got a sort of a perplexed, puzzled look, and he's watching this interaction quite clearly and quite intently. And then as it kind of wraps up and you all kind of exchange deeds and be on with you, fellow, kind of thing, and L'Oreal hands over the money, you notice that he whispers to he whispers to a rather scrawny, thin-looking man who nods and then heads across the way towards you all.
I will whisper to the party. What's his game? I just
Is that the mayor?
I just look over to sort of nod towards the guy with the two guards. This guy coming towards us.
Okay, so the guy coming towards you does have this strange gait about him. His hands are all palsied. He is the mayor, and he comes over and he's kind of, you have been requested to be in the presence of his lordship, Darius Carmen.
Busy at the moment, mate. Sorry.
Who the bloody hell's he?
He is the boss of the town.
He's not doing a very good job.
So he's the mayor then.
No, I'm the mayor. I'm the appointed mayor by Baron Gasconfold himself. No, Lord Darius is merely the town's.
He runs the mines.
He runs the mines. Yeah, he's there, like the town's industrial leader, shall we say?
You look a bit scraggly.
So was it Darius Gascon?
No, it's Darius Carmen.
Carmen. Oh, I thought there was somebody else who ran most of the industry.
No, you've got Darius Carmen, who's the mine owner. So he owns the warehouses, the smithy, the granary.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. It's the same person. I just got the wrong name attached to it. Apologies.
Yeah, no worries.
Does he own you too?
Well, he does not own me. I speak directly for Baron Gasconfold, but we have a good, solid working relationship, and he would like to invite you to his house for lunch.
So
He has
why-
a business proposition for you.
so he just gets the mayor to do that for him, does he?
Occasionally, yes.
So you're just his lackey.
Not necessarily, no. I just felt that his request helped me out on a slight predicament that I also have.
Okay, so you're getting money on the back.
He kind of looks away at that. Looks around and I've passed on my invitation. He requests your presence for noon. Otherwise,
Why does he want to see us?
I didn't ask him his business beyond that he has a matter that is that puts Noltec's interests first and foremost, and anything that puts Noltec's interests at the forefront means that I can continue to collect taxes that are due for our Lord.
I'm sure that the town thanks you for your helpful civil service.
Indeed. Well, I must go off. I've got some paperwork and some taxes to collect. If you are looking to stay here, and I did hear rightly that you just purchased a property, there will be taxes on that property.
Can I cast Mage Hand and pull his ear and say, we are not paying taxes?
If you wish, yeah.
That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Okay. He's like, ow! Oh, have Murlocs are a WoW only thing, right? Yes, they are. I'll have you. You mustn't accost the mayor like that. All properties in the boundaries of Noltec are subject to his lordship's taxes. It's all there in the deeds.
The boundary's
Is-
changed.
I was going to say, it's a
And
swamp.
also,
It's not in the
it's
boundary, it's in the
not in the
swamp.
boundary. It's outside the hex, isn't it?
It's outside the hex.
It's in the swamp, it's not in the boundary.
Well, we'll
I'm sure the mayor can overlook taxes required on an unused property, especially when we've been so helpful to the lands around here.
Is the property empty?
It is at the moment. Yeah, he's the guy.
Should-
No, I was thinking, does it have any furniture in or anything?
No,
No, sold it.
at all. And now you can see people. So you watch as the family kind of trot off back to the main road. They've got a few belongings and some food and stuff in the back, and now you kind of say that, Jet. You notice that there are quite a lot of people with various bits of furniture being carried off to various houses in the town.
Well, if there's no furniture, then obviously there must be exemption from tax.
I see we're going to have an interesting conversation later. I must go, gentlemen. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I'll flick his ear with Mage Hand.
Okay. And literally, as he kind of passes by one of the buildings, you can see a couple of children just mimicking his gait. And one of them comes up to you and, "You will pay taxes! You will pay taxes!" and runs off.
Perhaps we. Well, he seems to be a bit of a slimy fellow, but we should make sure we don't upset the local nobility. Some of them can hold a grudge.
Yeah, bear in mind what you know about him is he's a direct representative and directly appointed by Baron Gasconfold, who is the directly appointed representative of the Overlord in this region. So piss him off too much, you end up with a Baron on your back, and then you end up with the Overlord on your back if you piss off the Baron.
Fair enough.
So there is a bit of politics that you do need to be aware of.
Besides, tax on such a location must be such a small amount, and I do not imagine we're going to be hit for too long.
However, when you study the deed, it clearly states that the house lies outside the boundary of Noltec.
Does it indeed?
So he just wanted some coin for his back pocket.
He was
Right.
just trying it on, yes, to see whether you could be pushed over, and clearly you can't. Okay, so you do have an outstanding invitation to go and visit Lord Darius Carmen.
Give a time.
Yeah,
Mm.
12 o'clock.
Yeah.
We've got an hour, haven't we?
You got about an hour.
About an hour.
Can I go get my armor, please?
Yep.
We should go and see the constable.
Yes.
And Gerald,
Harold.
who is also
Right.
the carpenter.
I need to visit the temple as well.
Why?
Because
He's going to become. He's going to become a cleric. Why else do you visit a temple?
And I'll go and see if my mall has been finished.
Okay. All right. So the mall was it at the smithy, Carmen Smithy, that you were getting the mall, Bill? Made?
It was at the mall, the smithy. Yeah.
Okay. And can you remember how many days ago in game time it was you asked for it? I don't think it was that much.
Enough time to have it made.
I think we've only been away a couple of days, haven't we?
Yeah.
Maybe 3 actually, because we travelled up, stayed the night, did some more travelling, camped out, came back, camped. So
Yeah, we
So
camped
it
out
might be-
twice.
Yeah,
in the
my
temple.
Town's not ready yet. It says the 5th of the sweet train.
Does it say yours will be ready on the 5th?
It says it takes 5 days, and I put in my notes the 5th of sweet train.
Okay, yep. So it's only the 2nd of Sweet Rain at the moment. So you are.
How long have we been away then? Just a couple.
You've only been away a couple of days. So
Oh.
just so Sent to Ragnis, the Crypt Beneath Sent to Ragnis happened on the 20th of Flower Bloom, which is the last day of the month. From there, you went up to Cooper's Farm on the 1st of Sweet Rain through to the 2nd of Sweet Rain, where you...
We
yeah.
went to the
I said
temple
3
as well.
days.
Yeah, we went to the temple, didn't we, first?
Yes, we did. That was on the 20th, and so it's been 2 more days since. 3 days.
Yeah.
Well, I do think we should go see Geralt anyway.
Indeed, we should see him before this
Before
Lord.
the meeting.
Indeed, and then perhaps we can see Toaster afterwards.
Are you attuned to it, Kurgan?
Of what? Sorry.
The Medallion of Thoughts.
I thought I was having that.
Oh, were you? I pinched it out of the party loot not last session, the session before, I think.
Okay.
Because I thought you wanted your scout to be able to use it.
Well, if you didn't pick it up and you didn't use it, then you haven't got it.
Well, I was just wondering because no one had said anything, and I'm kind of scout, but so's Jet because he's weird.
It's not so it can detect thoughts, but you can also use it during an interrogation to guide thoughts and interactions as well. So it's not just a scouting tool.
And you really need to have something.
An interrogation then. Okay.
No, you need something you can see in the dark.
Yeah, I need that before, I suppose. Yes.
And you've attuned to it, Kurgan, yeah?
I have, yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. Are you using it, or just pointing out that you have it?
I'm not using it at the moment. I haven't pointed out. I just linked it in the chat for other people.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Just so people could see what it is. Click on Detect Thoughts, Ember, and you'll see. It'll give you more details about what it does.
I'm reading it now.
Did you establish how long it would take for your mall to be built, Rage?
I can't remember, to be honest with you. It's not in my notes.
It wasn't a particularly custom one, was it? I think it was just a normal one. This one.
No, it did have the custom symbol of Thor on the head.
So I'm going to say it's going to take till the 4th of Sweet Rain to be built. So armor is the 5th, and the mall is the 4th.
Is it something you paid for already, Rage, or not?
Yeah, it's been paid for, yeah.
Right. Seems we're going to meet the guy who owns the actual smithy.
Okay.
Should we head to the constables?
So you head to Geralt's place.
Actually, I've just found it in session 11. Hang on, is that the right place? Oh, no, that's the other place. My other mall's ready.
Your other mall's ready. Yeah.
Where's that one?
That's in Melton.
Was it Melton? Yes, it's outside Sunlitten, isn't it?
Yeah, it's outside of Sunderland. Yeah. Well remembered. Okay. Geralt is currently he's planing some wood at the moment, shirt off, just kind of planing wood and checking straightness and things. Looks like he's making some bows. Be with you in a moment.
Take your time.
Yeah. It's you adventurers. What can I do? What can I help you with?
We're still looking for the young lady, and we've had no luck further north. We went to visit Cooper and Olean, and all we saw were signs of bandits and orcs in the area. We were hoping that you might be able to assist us in finding out a little bit more about can't remember the damn name again. The differing wood.
Now, what do you want to know about the woods? Stay well away from the woods if I was you. Some people say they're haunted.
Well, we've heard of creatures called gorgons, and that some people who go in there are found later as statues.
Alright, well, that's one rumour that I've heard from the woods. I've heard a few others as well. Something about a haunted castle. To the northeast of the Gorgons.
Olean told us about this as well.
Ah, you've seen Olean, have you? How is the old girl? Still pining, I bet.
Indeed, and she seems more comfortable in her other skin.
Yeah, sad one, that one. But a good ally to have, nonetheless. Keep her on your good side. A pack's bigger than it seems.
Yes, I've spent some time with druids in the past. She was reluctant to send her pack into the woods, however, and we were hoping that with your contacts in the area, you might know a little bit more about them.
Well, and he kind of puts the wood down and turns and... What is it you want to know?
If there's been any strange goings on, or if there's been any orcs with a bloody mark on their skull seen in the area.
Well, I can't say I've heard anything about orcs with bloody marks on their skulls. Going-ons? There's a few interesting ruins still to be explored in the heart of the Differing, though most of the routes take you past the old well, I don't know what you'd call it. Old temple, old altar, but that's where the Gorgons nest. Probably wouldn't spend too much time there unless you're well equipped to deal with their kind.
You know what we can do to protect ourselves against them.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe.
And he
That
chuckles.
could be a problem.
I would chuckle at that as well.
Hang on, Rage is immune then because he doesn't breathe.
Yeah, mechanically he doesn't breathe, but I don't think he's immune to their petrification.
Nope.
Only one way to find out, right?
Yeah, stand him in front of him and tell him to breathe in. Then there's the old keep.
What do you know about the old keep?
But this is a haunted place, right?
It's yeah, well, people say it's haunted.
By what?
Well, I don't know. I've never been there.
No, you must have heard stories, though. There's always stories about these places.
Yeah, there's always stories about things being haunted. You're right. You're right. Some say it was a lord that was assassinated.
Any name or family?
No, don't really pay much attention to it. I don't really pay much attention. I don't know. I can't say that I've ever bothered about the lore of the place. Probably a couple of 100 years old. Not much older than that, but certainly the Differing Woods have claimed it a little bit more for itself.
A lord and a keep will have a noble family elsewhere. If he was murdered, it was for a reason.
Indeed.
What's the mine owner called?
Darius.
Carmen.
Darius Carmen.
If he knows anything about this.
They might do. Oh, grumpy guts.
Would you be able to draw us a rough map of the woods that you know of?
Yeah, I can give you some ideas of where things are. So if you look at the main map, oops. The castle is in the woods in 4116. Probably closer to the river than the road. And the Gorgon lair is in 4016.
So don't go deep into the woods, is what you're saying.
Don't go deep into the woods, yeah. Well, you're thinking about going to have a look, are you?
I think we need to if we're going to find this young lady. She hasn't turned up, has she?
No, not heard a peep from Towster in the last day or so. He's not. No, not seen him. To tell me that she's been here or not.
Perhaps he isn't taking her loss very well.
Well, the old fool said he hated her, but and you different.
We should
So he's probably taking it hard.
call in on him before we leave.
Yes, I think we.
Well, look,
we intend to.
if I can perhaps trouble you a little bit, if you're looking for work to do around here that might get you on a few people's good side, old Adrian Coltsfoot, out to about a quarter of a mile east of Noltec, just on the edge of the hills there. Reckons he's seen something weird around the strange pillar that stands atop a hill, not too far from his place. Came over the other day saying that there were strange sights, greenish coloured glow coming from it. He was too scared, and even Lumber, his help, didn't want to go up that way.
That sounds very interesting. Perhaps if we can spare the time later, we could travel out that way.
And then there's the oddity of the swamp. Seems that Desolate Swamp's been growing by the day, if you believe some of the fishermen that have come back. No idea why. My own sources of information have drawn a blank on that one, so I don't know. That's just a bit odd.
Would you like us to look into that for you?
I don't really care. As long as it doesn't grow this far, and that's a long way to grow, but if it does, then yeah, I care about it. But
you never know.
Yeah, from my point of view, it's an oddity. I'm sure there's an explanation, a rational explanation. Probably fishermen just getting bored of not catching any fish in the swamp and wanting to head out, find a reason to leave.
Have any of those fishermen not come back at all?
Now you mention it, Darius did mention the other week when he came to see me that a couple of fishermen had not come back. Apparently they'd gone down to the swamp there where the Modron branches the basically sort of around this area.
I thought, that
018.
Seems like
they were due back a couple of days ago, from what I understand. They didn't come back. But these fishermen sometimes go over to Ryefield, and I think some of them have got, let's just say, more than one bed companion. And they might just be spending some time down there.
Well, so if we swing by there, we will have a look.
No, I think we need to find Joaneth first. She's been missing a few days now.
There's one other thing. One more thing.
I'll bet there is.
Just one more question.
There's always one more thing.
I've got some bird friends up in the hills. They're part of my information network, if you like. I heard a couple of days ago that they've been harassed by gnolls, and they might welcome some assistance.
Could you be more specific about bird friends?
And which hills?
The differing hills.
Hills to the east of here.
East, yeah, again.
Did you say that the obelisk was to the east as well on that farm?
Yeah. So, says, yeah, it's we have a sort of to the south of here, not southeast.
Reach shredded wheat.
4-2. Yeah, I know. I never eat shredded wheat. I always do that. I have to kind of. You'll sometimes see me not saying anything, and I'm nodding my head like this. Is because I'm trying to figure out what direction it's in. So effectively on the map, 4218, on the edge of 4218, he explains that there is a gnoll camp, and that gnoll camp has been harassing a group of Aarakocra over in 4318. And he's heard from his sources that the Gnolls have been successful in raiding the Aarakocra's eggs and have managed to take all of them back. And the Aarakocra are unable to retrieve the eggs because they're effectively not powerful enough to do so.
I like dealing with gnolls. I do like dealing with gnolls.
It sounds terrible that they've taken their children.
Indeed. I'd go after him myself if it wasn't for this bad knee.
How do
And
we
the
know
fact
they're
that I'm too
scrambled
old.
children now?
Yeah, scrambled children.
Oh, hello, Kelga.
Is there a reward for that then? Or is it just information?
Well, you'll have to speak to the Aarakocra. If you can rescue their eggs, I'm sure they'll be happy to recompense you somehow. Though how, I don't know.
Are Aarakocra eggs tasty?
Well, I've not eaten them, and I wouldn't eat them. They're a rare race in these parts.
Well, doesn't hurt to ask.
I wouldn't ask them if I were you. Well,
So mechanically speaking, if you went and solved that problem, it would open Aarakocra as a race that you could create a character from.
wow.
If you wanted to be an Aarakocra at a later date.
Unless we cook up a bumper breakfast.
You can just get all their eggs and have a bumper breakfast. I'm sure Aarakocra would taste like chicken, right?
Party accolades, genocide of Aarakocra. Wow, okay.
I do like the idea, but we're getting quite a backlog of side quests at the moment. If we take this on, we should start clearing stuff out a little bit more effectively, right?
It's just like New World.
It is New World, yeah. This is the town board, and you've got to try and choose what you want to do. Yeah, so these are the things that are known around the area of interesting things that you can choose to go and do. The question you have to ask yourself is, do you think you're strong enough to explore the keep at your current level, or do you think you need to go and do some of these other things before you go tackle the keep?
The latter.
But the sad thing is, this girl that's disappeared has a timeline, really.
Yeah.
She
Or
might
does
not be in
she?
the keep, right?
Well,
It feels like the keep is... I think it's more likely she was taken by the orcs because she's a caster.
Yeah.
So
I think
track down where they are.
It's nice. Yeah, it's nice to know where all this stuff is, but we need to get back to the tracks and find out where those orcs went. If they went towards the keep, so be it. If they went somewhere else, then that's where we need to stay on that.
Yeah, Jelena. Yeah, we need to find out what's happened to her.
right. Should we go and see Darius?
Yeah, I think
Carmen?
Gerald will. Gerald, kind of, as you're kind of having this kind of discussion around, sort of near him, he sort of says, "Look, I'll send out some animals, see if they can figure anything out. Perhaps Jeleneth is nearby, hasn't left Brushwood. I'll perhaps know within the next day or so."
Well, why don't we let them do our scouting? We go off and do some clear off the town board quests.
We're going grinding.
Yeah,
grinding for XP.
I'm going to go chop some trees down.
Just to clarify.
I'd hate to leave Jelena vulnerable for any longer, but I don't think we're capable of tracking down these orcs without some help. So
If those animals are going to be better at tracking than us, then probably makes sense to let him do it, right?
Yep.
I was
giant
hoping
GM signpost.
I was hoping that Gerald would maybe offer some assistance and maybe say it gives a town militia.
Kind of raised my eyebrow at that. Remember what happened when we left somebody with a town militia last time?
What?
Well, we've got this meeting in 40 minutes. Very precise time, judging by the sun. Can you tell us anything of this lord?
Lord.
He certainly seems to own a lot of property around the town.
Doesn't seem to own a lot of respect, though.
I think you'll find is Lord in nothing but self-grandioseness. He's certainly not been appointed Lord by the Baron, but he does kind of lord it over Noltec on the basis of he owns pretty much all the major businesses to do with the mines and the smithing around here. He even owns a couple of the warehouses and the granary. So, yeah, people call him Lord. He's not really a lord, but he lords it over people.
He's a landlord, basically.
You could look at it like that, young one. You could definitely look at it like that.
Well, that's good to know.
That said, I wouldn't cross him.
Why? What's happened?
The last person that crossed him, we can't prove it, but was found floating in the Differing 3 days later.
So it's a bit of a...
Doesn't sound like the sort to do his own dirty work. Take it he paid someone then.
Like I said, can't prove anything. We know it was him, just can't prove it. Or we know it was his actions, commands, call it what you want, orders. Don't know who did it, how they did it, just that the body was there a few days later.
We should be very careful in our dealings with him then. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. As for militia, listen, my reach is Noltec. If these orcs that you say are looking for casters, or these bandits looking for casters, were to come and attack Noltec directly, yeah, I could definitely get the militia and I could help you repel them. But heading into the forest to take a ruined keep, outside of their jurisdiction, I'm afraid. We'd run the risk of reducing Noltec's protective capabilities too much. The mayor wouldn't stand for it. I don't think his lordship would stand for it. And so I can't really do it.
My worry is these orcs that we met were in the same, or asking us, trying to capture magic users, just like those bandits were just north of this lovely village here. Very close to home.
Well, it is troubling if they're on the road out towards Brushwood, gotta say that. But let's just hope they don't come down here too far.
Look, we don't know where they are yet. Perhaps if your contacts can and animal companions can find where they're coming from, we might be able to investigate further.
Yeah.
Well, I'll see what they come back with. You best be off. I've got work to do.
All right, let's head out.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
He nods and turns and continues to work on his bows.
All right then. So where are we off to now?
We've got a little time before our meeting. Did you want to go to the temple?
Well, I want to go to the temple. Somebody else. We've done the mace and the whatever it was.
Yeah, you basically went over to the armourer and the smith and realised that you were a little bit too early to collect those. So yeah, you've got about half an hour or so. So you could definitely go over to the temple if you wished.
All right. It feels a little me-centric. I think I'm the only one that wants to go there, right?
I'd come with you, but
I'll go because I had a very interesting conversation with him. I could introduce you.
Did you?
Yeah, the priest is called Semhai.
So just out of character, this was one of the episodes where I was away and I did watch the episode, but I don't remember you speaking to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What were you talking about?
My awakening.
Your awakening, sexual or otherwise?
You saw the change in me, the energy that now surrounds me.
Is the lightning energy?
Yes.
Right.
It is the kind of hallmark of Thor.
I did. Yeah, this is what I discussed with him.
Okay.
Oh, that's why you want the hammer.
Yep.
The hammer of Thor.
Although mine's going to be bigger, so.
That's what they always say.
Oh, I was so tempted. I resisted. All right. Let's head to the temple. Let's go and bang on the door.
Yes. Come in. Come in. The door is always open.
All right. I kind of look around to see who's going to follow me in, and I just duck through the door.
Yeah, I'll walk in with him.
Okay. So this is the priest.
Yeah. So you've got a youngish gentleman, maybe in his maybe somewhere between 18 and 20, wearing very pristine vestments, emblazoned with symbols of Thor all over them. How may I help you today? You come to worship Thor?
Yeah, semi. We had a conversation. We had a conversation.
Yes.
My companion here would like a discussion with you. I assume it's private, so I just introduce him and I'll step outside.
Well, come.
What does the temple look like inside?
It's festooned in a sort of it does have definitely got lightning motifs around it, and there are a number of statues of Thor. There are a couple of smaller statues of other gods, but most of the iconography in here is related to Thor.
Are there any particular other gods there?
Got to find my gods list, haven't I? There it is. Let's have a look. Yeah, let's have Armadad Bog. No, let's not have him. The water god of death, definitely not. There'll be a small statue of Athena, probably an owl. And actually there'll be an owl sat on the shoulder of one of the statues of Thor. There'll be another statue of Thor holding scales in his hand to symbolize Mitra.
Okay.
And let's have a look. Yeah, there's plenty of hammers around. There would also be there's a statue showing what looks like Thor on his knees at the edge of a pond with a great ibis in front of him, which you would recognize as Thoth, the god of knowledge and learning. So whilst the majority of the iconography is Thor, there is a nod to Thoth, a nod to Mitra, and a nod to Athena in here.
So you're one of these priests, right? Gods and things.
Yes, I am. Are you wishing to convert my good half-orc?
No, I'm looking for answers. I
will try and give you answers.
I was a soldier. I was a simple half-orc.
Well, none of us are simple, my friend. Each of us have a purpose here. The gods move through us in very mysterious and sometimes confusing ways.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It was certainly bloody confusing to me.
And do you wish to share with me what happened?
I don't know. I don't remember what happened on the day, but when I saw the priestess in Seastrand at St. Pariah's humility, I had a vision, and there were many things that I didn't understand, and I'm trying to find out who I am and what I am and why I have become what I am.
And this vision? Did you see anything in particular?
Can I save the details and just recant all of that to the D?
Yeah, if you want to do,
remember
yeah,
what we
yeah.
went through, Zed?
Yeah. Well, it's certainly a very interesting vision that you said you had. Do you know where this circle of stones lies?
No, we had some hints. We know that to the northeast of this place is a glint of the ocean, and west there is a forest that stretches before me. Beyond that, nothing.
Well, that could be many different places.
It could, and I don't have the answers yet.
But, so what did you say? North of you was a hint of the ocean?
So northeast is a far glint of the ocean, and to the west a forest stretches below me specifically. So I guess I'm maybe on a hill or on a range of hills or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you want me to copy the text into?
Yeah, I've got the text. I just need to figure out.
It's in my journal in my character.
Figure out where on the map that might be, because I didn't make a note.
Don't say that. You're ruining the magic.
Oh, I know. I'm ruining the magic. No, I know exactly where you are. Right. Well.
So I'm looking for a hint where this stone circle could be, or what is this power that I have in me now? Where did it come from? Who is this person that I met?
And there was no detail of this person.
He has. It was hard to tell. He was cloaked and hooded. He had a gloved hand, and I seem to remember eyes, red eyes, burning red eyes looking at me. And he seemed to know me. He seemed to think I'd taken his power, but I haven't taken anybody's power. I woke up with this. I remember nothing.
I can see how that would be very confusing. Lord Thor teaches us that we should embrace our visions. We should become the thing which the gods wish us to be. And maybe this is the way the gods are telling you to throw off and cast off your old life. Embrace your new life. Become the man, half-orc that you are.
But to what purpose? Why? Who wants me to do this? Why have I been given this power?
Those are questions that perhaps your journey will in time allow you to answer. Alas, I wish I could give you answers. I could tell you that perhaps this figure in black represents your old life. The life that you have taken the power from and cast aside and embraced this new life. This circle stones could represent life, new life. Yes, a place of birth.
My insight check is deeming that this guy is just full of crap.
Give me an insight check.
I can give you a roll, but
I'm listening in rapt attention at the moment. Just trying. I'm a very confused half orc. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So the guy is so Samhain is trying to turn this whole vision story into a reason to preach. And
yeah, I'm getting that feeling.
He's doing it well, but really, from your perspective, it's not really helping Kurgan gain the answers that he wants. But from Kurgan's point of view, you can see he's absolutely raptured and hanging on every word. And perhaps you're even starting to nod in agreement and kind of take on board what he's saying because it sounds plausible.
I'm gonna take Kurgan by the elbow and say, "I'm sorry. Could I speak to you outside for a moment?"
Yes.
No, Kurgan.
I'll kind of turn reluctantly and follow L'Oreal out.
Okay.
I'm making sure this priest isn't overhearing me.
As you kind of walk out, you'll hear him sort of turn to Rage. So, Rage, How is Lord Thor treating you? Have you embraced him?
Yes.
Ah, that is good. Come, shall we pray?
No. I'll turn around and leave.
Oh, he says as he kind of watches you. Yeah, his big grin on his face goes from excitement at being able to pray with somebody to watch you just turn around and walk out, and he gets this crestfallen look all over his face.
I'll look over my shoulders. I'm leaving. Go. There is a young girl's life at stake. I have no time to pray. Maybe after.
I'm just kind of pointing out to Kurgan that this man doesn't preach to help you. He preaches for his own vanity.
All right. So
I have questions as well myself, but I don't think we'll find answers here.
Oh no, because I'm going to stride straight back into the temple, poke him in the chest, and say, "Are you bullshitting me here? Am I wasting my time with you?"
No. I merely offer you an interpretation of your vision. I don't know if it's the right interpretation, but from my perspective and from the wisdom of Lord Thor,
I clear my throat and I'm just nodding at Kurgan. Mm-hmm.
It could absolutely be a valid interpretation of your dreams.
I prefer the thoughts of my friend L'Oreala. Thank you. And I'm going to turn out, cast Mage Hand, and flick a silver coin over my shoulder at him.
Okay. He tries to be very
I look so embarrassed at him, and I smile and duck a little kind of curtsy and move out of his line of sight outside.
Okay.
Looking quite embarrassed.
All right. And you watch, the last thing you see is the young priest on his hands and knees scrabbling under a pew trying to grab this silver piece.
Oh,
and there, we're going to pause for a 10-minute break.
All right.
Awesome. Right, I'll be back in 5.
Right. Take 10. Back in... what time is it now? Yeah, back at 1:45, yeah. Just remember to stick yourself at AFK if you are, and I will see you in 10 minutes.
Okie dokie.
Nasty little buggers,
That's
goblins.
why I can't speak dwarf, because it let me speak dwarf. I was given it, but I lost it.
We don't have a dwarf in the party, do we?
You don't have a dwarf in the party, no?
We don't.
We can if we buy a
Which is
beard for
unusual.
Ember.
It is unusual.
It does say that if you are capable of having a beard, then your beard does get bigger. But if you don't,
There you go.
it won't grow one.
Cal, you back?
Yes, I am.
Are you putting your camera on, or is it going to be off?
No, I shall put it on.
It just says we changed the cameras around again.
All right.
Yeah, and Evil, we need
Well-
your cameras on. I need
Welcome
your
back
cameras.
to Noltec.
Hang on,
Oh.
you can just move the people around in Discord, can't you?
Yeah, can you? No, I don't know. It's so much neater this way.
Yeah, I thought you could. Rather than having to do it with your whatever it is you're doing, moving around.
I'll have a play with that at a later date, don't worry.
So, after leaving the church, you will proceed up to Carmen's mansion. She's up here. Probably take you 5 minutes or so to walk up there. The mansion itself is a rather imposing and sort of out of place building for what you've seen in the rest of Noltec, where most of Noltec is a mixture of maybe one sort of single story wooden buildings, 2-story half wood, half stone buildings. This is a rather large 2-3 story mansion surrounded by high wooden halls.
The guards outside.
There are 2 guards. Well, actually, there's 1 guard at the door. The gate, the entrance to the
Guards somewhere doing something outside of building a couple of sessions ago.
He's probably around the back having a piss.
probably. The guard steps in front of the door as you approach. Makes no overt sort of offensive gesture towards you, just stands there and... What is your purpose of this visit?
I believe we have a lunch meeting with your master.
Ah. The adventurers, yes?
L'Oreal kind of looks around a little confused and says, I suppose so?
Yeah, that's us.
Is it?
1 moment, please. And he kind of steps into a little hut, rings a bell. After a few moments, the door to the mansion opens and a fairly tallish, middle-aged gentleman comes striding forwards, dressed in a rather immaculate tweed kind of suit, shirt with very frilly collar and frilly cuffs, mutton chop kind of facial hair. Yes, these are the guests that my master Lord Darius is expecting. I take it.
And who are you? Good sir?
I'm his chief butler.
You look like a cake
More than one.
with your frilly bits.
Well, this is one has to dress well for his lordship.
Do you have a name?
I'm sorry.
Do you have a name?
Yes, my name is Matthias.
Well, pleased to meet you, Matthias.
I hate it when you put me on the spot like that. Bastard. Well, I'm afraid his lordship has a rule: no weapons permitted in the house. If you would leave them with the guard here, Reginald, it will all be fine. Oh my goodness! I do say you have a fluffy fluffy one in front of you, sir.
What? Oh. I was like, what?
Hello. My tail? You're going to pay attention to me, because if you're not, I'm going to stick my ass in your face and whack you with my tail.
It's just parked on my arm now.
So,
Could I bring in my guitar?
well, it's a very unusual thing, sir.
It's a musical instrument.
Perhaps his lordship might want some entertainment?
Well, my lordship does not seem to be in a mood today for entertainment, but yes, I'll permit your guitar.
Thanks.
I will lean my quarterstaff against the wall, but I am keeping the burned axe shaft kind of hidden under my robes.
Mm-hmm.
Can I hide a dagger on me?
Sleight of hand check, please. Probably the same for you, actually, Kurgan. Sleight of hand check.
A burnt piece of wood. You wouldn't deny a half-orc a burnt piece of wood. What do you want?
Sleight of hand check.
Oh, got another one.
Oh god, that's not the. Oh, whoops, that's the.
Shit.
That's not me. That's the company, not me.
Get your cat's butt out of the camera.
Oh, bless her. That's a very fluffy tail.
The usual name for the cobwebs.
Master Half-Orc, if I may say so, what is that that's sticking out of your robe there?
It's a symbol from his tribe. You wouldn't want him to part with that, would you?
Show me it, please.
Well, this old thing is just a burnt piece of wood. I carry it for luck.
Then that is fine. There is no sharp implement attached to the end of it.
No, it's just a piece of wood. Nothing special about it at all.
And the rest of you?
Yeah, I'll leave the weapons. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll place my my mace down.
Yeah, I'll pile all mine up.
All of them.
Yep.
I pull a dagger off my belt and put it on there, and then I pull another from my boot and put that on there.
Let's not keep the master waiting. Lunch is served. I do hope you like quail's eggs and duck.
I'm sorry, quails. Quail? What's a quail?
It's a small game bird. Can be found in the fields, right about here.
I look suspicious.
Okay, you look suspicious as everything. Takes you through into the house. The mansion itself is well appointed. Inside, in the large kind of inside the large kind of entrance foyer is several portraits kind of around the wall, clearly showing the current master of the house, Darius Carmen. A lady next to him, you imagine must be Mrs. Carmen. And then on the other walls, two other elderly gentlemen. You kind of guess maybe Father Carmen and Grandfather Carmen. And then you're kind of diverted into a large dining hall, probably, I don't know, 30, 40 feet by about maybe 20 feet wide, a table set for up to about 15, 16 people. Huge kind of oak table. And the far end is your host. And then about halfway down are a number of chairs positioned for you to sit either side of the table. And in front of you, a suckling pig with a piece of fruit in its mouth, duck, vegetables, just everything that you ostentatious food, very high quality food. And stood to one side are two ladies in the same kind of blackish coloured, very nice with kind of white trim around the collars and the cuffs. both very young, very attractive, and in the middle of them is a man wearing a chef's hat, and they just stood there with their arms crossed, kind of just waiting.
I'm going to look sideways at L'Oreal and just say, "So, can we sit down and eat now?"
I don't know.
I want the
And
pig.
the man at the other end, as you kind of whisper this, kind of rises to his feet and, my guests, please, sit. Help yourself to lunch. I hope
takes his knife out and takes a slice of the pig and starts eating it.
I hope this meagre spread in front of you is sufficient for you today.
Oh, good.
You are most gracious. Thank you.
And to put it into context, I think Ray just kind of summed it up like, Jesus Christ, meagre food. The food on this table is probably more food than some people in Noltec have seen in a month.
I was going to say maybe would feed the village.
It wouldn't quite feed the village, but it would feed a significant number of families. Yeah, maybe 10 or so families easily. Come, don't be shy. Can I offer you wine?
Ale.
Go on then.
Ale? It's not really ale time; it's wine time. But if you insist on an ale, I can have Marigold here get you some ale.
Yes.
Marigold, dear, could you go and get some ale? Bring the firebrand. I think our guest would enjoy the firebrand.
Oh, that sounds good. I'll have some as well.
Oh, there you go, Mehdi. Perfect.
Kelgar sits down and helps himself, just using his hands. Tears a chunk off the pig.
Okay.
I'm going to raise a glass and just clack it against Kel's glass and just chow down.
Okay, so the firebrand, he basically rings a little bell and one of the girls steps forwards and curtsies and, firebrand, my lord? Yes, indeed. And she disappears off.
I'm basically treating this place like a tavern.
After about 5 minutes, she comes back with 2 big steins in her hand, and she comes over and puts them in front of each of you. And well, I hope that's sufficient to start with. Please don't be shy. Help yourself.
It's a good start.
I just ask that you don't, if you can help it, try not to get juice on the floor.
Why?
You look down and there's an immaculate rug on the floor. With your muddy bum prints kind of across this rug in places.
That's what we call a target.
That's what we call a mistake in our world.
Banging tankards with Kurgan, a short attempt to quaff carefully.
Oh, I'm not doing it carefully at all.
Which is to say, there is still spilling.
So, my lord, Carmen,
for the next hour is just general small talk. Any attempt from you to kind of inquire as to why you are here, he just kind of deflects the question and just says, at the moment, we're here to eat and enjoy company.
A lot of food here.
There is a lot of food here, yeah.
Do I get the sense that he's trying to waste our time, or is it just that
give me an insight roll?
He does things?
Give me an insight roll.
Okie dokie.
Anybody else wish to make an insight roll? You may do so.
No, I'm just eating.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm not drinking anything, by the way. Everyone else can get drunk, I'm not.
Your Ember's not drinking.
I'm just having a glass of milk.
Okay, glass of milk.
Can I chip into the conversation and ask how long he's been in this town?
Well, my family have been here for the past 50 or so years. My great-grandfather founded the first of the mines here, and since then, we have built up this fine house. We've mined the hills, and we've tilled the fields, and we've made some money.
That's good for a family to do, as long as that money, you can pay that money forward into the community that has supported you. That's wonderful. I'm assuming you're doing that.
Well, of course, I have a number of interests here in Noltec, and I employ locals, and I pay them a generous salary. Or a generous wage, or whatever. L'Oreal Ember. He's showing off.
Yeah, so this is how he does business.
This is how he does business. He shows off first, and then he gets down to brass tacks. He wants you to know that he's worth a few quid. He has, he's not treating you like, he's not quite treating you like equals, but he's not treating you like scum of the earth either, even though you're a ragtag bunch of adventurers. He is kind of treating you, well. Kelgar has visitors behind him.
He's been visited.
Are the women who are in here with him servants, or what impression do I get by the way they're behaving?
You've got a cook, the cook's a chef. You've got the butler,
the two ladies,
and the two ladies would be maid servants.
Okay. I thought they're daughters.
That's what I was trying to understand, whether they're
they would appear to be. They would appear to be maid servants.
So, is there a Mrs. Carmen?
Well, such a sad tale, Mrs. Carmen. Died in childbirth. About 5 years ago.
Sorry.
And the child?
Sadly didn't make it.
Oh, that's terrible.
A terrible shame. Do you have any other family?
I am the last in the line of the Carmens.
That's sad.
That is a shame indeed. Perhaps how old is he?
He's probably in his late 30s, early 40s. Give me another insight check, everybody.
I'm going to say you still have plenty of time. You're a young man and you look fit and well, and certainly your wealth must at least attract some attention.
But our rolls aren't great tonight, folks.
Any woman would be glad to have such a...
Oh, there you go.
It's a nice roll.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so L'Oreal and Rage, when he sort of says that, you notice Marigold flushes red for a second.
That might be the case, yeah.
Does she?
Wait, Marigold, the butler.
That's Matthias.
Marigold is the younger of the two maids. She's probably about 17, 18.
Well, these rich people, they're always doing this kind of thing anyway,
That doesn't make it proper.
Says Kurgan. Eyeing up the other one.
No. No, that's not Kurgan at all. It's far too focused.
Yeah, far too focused.
I'm sure in time you will marry again and have many children.
A Marigold. And I'll say that out loud.
With that, she goes bright red, and he goes, Indeed. Perhaps the gods will favour me with a bride and a beautiful child at some point. Indeed, yes.
I'm sure your wife would understand.
Well, have we all eaten enough food?
Yes, thank you.
Let's just then. And he picks up his bell, and the two ladies come forwards, and the cook comes forwards as well. The butler comes. Matthias, please show our guests to the smoking room. Please, Matthias will look after you for a few moments. I will just go freshen up, and I will be back in a moment.
I quietly mused to Medistra. I wonder how long Marigold has been working for him.
I wouldn't be surprised. It was 5 years ago.
And there's a suspicion I hold as well. It would be a shame if that's the case.
I concur.
She's definitely above average in looks. Quite a live figure. Yeah, she's definitely an attractive young lady.
Does she come across as? I mean, she's clearly slightly embarrassed, but does she come across as like intelligent or manipulative, or somebody who would take advantage of the situation?
She hasn't said anything
yet.
She didn't speak at all.
Out of character, I think the fact that she's not making a move, as in trying to be more above the other servants, says something.
You enjoy working here, Marigold?
She kind of, yes, sir. The master treats us well.
Particularly well?
The master treats us well. He's fair.
I'll bet he does. Some fairer than others.
Matthias takes you sort of out of the dining room, across the hallway, down a small corridor to the side, and puts you into a large room surrounded on two sides, kind of a corner room, probably about 30 feet by 30 feet. So what, 10 meters by 10 meters? Corner room, big glass windows, kind of overlooking the back of the house and out towards, well, the countryside, basically. In the distance, you can see the hills to one side. You can just about see, in the very far distance, what looks like a bit of a darker green, so maybe the edge of the differing woods. And there's a load of various kind of chairs, from wing-back chairs to divans to chaise longue kind of things, and he just says, "Gentlemen, ladies, please take your seats. Can I offer you cigars? Can I offer you spirits of some kind?"
Could you get to the point?
Oh, well, I can't. The master will be here in a few moments.
Okay.
I'll have a cigar and just a water now, thank you.
Very good, sir.
I don't want anything.
Rachel will stand by the window.
Okay.
He will ask for a pipe.
Okay. Yeah, pipe, not a problem.
And I will sit with my feet up on the furniture, on the table or something.
I've never seen a... Oh.
Are these those same muddy feet?
That's the same muddy feet.
Yep.
No, I just look at L'Oreal, just looks and goes, Kurgan.
What?
Perhaps we should try and be good guests, at least until we find out his attention.
I mean, I ate his food and I drank his beer. It seems I'm doing what is
The beer, by the way, was very, very good and quite strong.
Do you mean Kurgan's drunk?
Yeah, not necessarily.
A half-orc can hold his beer. Tiny child.
Not a child.
They're making a terrible mess of that ottoman. Look at all the mud on it.
The otter.
Are we in a library then? So
No, it's not. It would what would be called, I guess, in
the drinking room.
A gentleman's room, yes.
It's a drawing room, right? A kind of a drawing room, smoking room. The kind of place where, in early days, gentlemen would go to relax after dinner, and women would not. Women would not be permitted.
Yeah.
It's like my house, that.
So L'Oreal and I shouldn't be in here then.
It's fine. You all get settled with various, drinks or not drinks or whatever. About 5 more minutes, and then the door opens and Darius comes in, and you're all well settled, I see. His eyes kind of alight on the dirty ottoman and the feet on it. He pauses for a second and then doesn't actually seem to skip doesn't really skip a beat. And he goes and he sits in one of the big wing-back chairs. I suppose you, ladies and gentlemen, would like to know why I've asked you here for dinner. And like anything, there's no such thing, as we say in my family, as a free lunch. So I have a business proposition for you.
We're certainly interested to hear what you have to propose.
Finally, says Kelgar. Well, it's not very often we get folk of your capacity, shall we say, in Noltec. We're a bit of a backwater place, off the beaten track, as it were. Now, we do seem to be having a few problems. And I'm wondering if I could perhaps hire you for a few days, maybe 2 weeks at tops, to see if these fishermen's tales about this growing swamp are real, and what might be causing it. I could see my way to paying you a fair wage.
Do you have many interests to the south?
Oh, I'm in the pitch business. I share the pitch business with our dear neighbours, of course, but at the moment the pitch business seems to have dried up on our side of the Modron. And no pitch means, well, many things just don't get made here in Noltec, and we can't trade as much as we normally do.
That would surely bring some poverty to the village.
Absolutely, and I'm very keen to make sure that the workforce here are not wanting.
Now, I can't believe that you've just sat here waiting for us to appear. Have you sent people to check this out before, to have a look, to maybe just scout around?
Well, I did pay a couple of fishermen about a week or so ago to tell me what they'd found, and they haven't come back. I bet those scoundrels took the money and ran. You know what some folk are like, some more less scrupulous folk. And then a few days ago, I sought out a diviner friend of mine over in Brushwood when I was on business there, to see if they could shed any light on the matter. It was quite an interesting session. Have you ever partaken of your fortunes being told?
I believe we make our own fortunes.
Well, the diviner, he charged me quite a sum of money. Told me that there was magic involved in the swamp and its recent increasing in size, but that it was not evil. Just that something was going wrong, going very, very wrong. I ask you, I could have told you that myself. There's definitely something going wrong.
And your interest in this is protecting your pitch business.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And the welfare of the townsfolk that choose to live outside of the perimeter of Noltec.
Okay, that's clearly bullshit. Insight check.
Yeah, give me an insight check.
You don't need to make one.
It seems genuine to you.
Okay.
For a moment.
Can I also very subtly just move my hand onto my chest and touch the medallion of thoughts? And I won't probe deeper, but just to get his surface level thoughts, what he's thinking.
You're going to use a charge from your medallion.
Exactly right.
He's thinking that he hopes that you will accept his generous offer, but he could go higher, but he doesn't want to go higher. That he is concerned about his business interests. And you do get a sense that does extend to the people that are the business interests that are actually working for him. Because if they're not happy, they don't get any. He doesn't get his goods that he can then sell.
Okay,
So
he's not a complete bastard then.
He's not but you also get this is a business proposition, and his is concerned from a business perspective about his interests. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Well, yes, gentlemen, madam. So, as I was saying, I would very much like to hire you for perhaps 2 weeks of your time.
Okay. Expectations of the contract and price.
Well, I'll offer you 100.
Rage will say from the window without turning around.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all I need you to do is investigate the swamp, see what might have caused it to grow. If necessary, if it's something you can rectify it. Just give me 2 weeks of your time, no more, no less, and I'll pay you 100 gold pieces, 50 up front, 50 when you complete the job.
I'm sorry, 100 gold pieces.
Yes, that's quite a generous offer.
For a week of our time.
Our time here.
Are we talking each?
That's each. Yes, each.
For a week of our time.
For a week of our time.
2 weeks of your time.
2 weeks of our time. Okay,
Yes.
This is getting worse.
Well, do you think you could get the matter done in a week?
Do you think you could pay us for our time?
I can pay you, of course.
Justly?
I think 100 gold pieces for 2 weeks of your time is just and fair payment.
I think you've been sorely misled.
The book actually says 50 gold pieces each, but there you go. I just inflated it.
Yeah. It's actually out of character. It's actually a very good rate.
Very good rate.
Yeah,
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know. I ain't got a clue.
Yes, it is. It's a very good rate. Most city folk wouldn't see 100 gold pieces in 2 weeks.
You look at the daily rate for wages.
Medistra's
working.
Medistra's already got more money than he's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a fairly skilled artisan would be paid 1 or 2 gold pieces a day.
Yeah.
Technically, we could also break into this place, steal everything, and then earn even more money, right?
You could.
If we were so inclined to destroy this village's economy, yeah.
You're no fun, L'Oreala.
I'd turn you into an evil. I'd make you switch alignment to evil, but yeah, you could do that.
Apologies already got 15 platinum.
I know.
All right. So here we go. I will stand up and I will look, I assume, down at him and say, I think we're worth more than that.
As you do, I just kind of tap my hand on your elbow as you're doing so. So you can add a d4 to your next roll.
And cast whole person on him. Oh, cast guidance on him.
Yes.
Just
All
gonna
right,
flick
give
his
me
ear.
do you wish to persuade him or intimidate him into giving you more?
I don't know how. Oh, well,
I mean, they both should be keyed off charisma, right?
yeah, they are. I'm just, I'm
Which
what's
is-
it in intimidation. I'm proficient.
Trained.
Yeah. I think it's more of an intimidation. I'm a fairly simple kind of half-orc.
I can always try and pull it out of the bag if you screw up.
You're also a soldier, so you're probably more used to intimidating or being intimidated, as in orders barked at you and being told or telling people what to do. Okay, give me an intimidation roll at 1d4.
I'm also trained in intimidation, if I can assist him to advantage. Can I? Or,
You can assist him.
I also stand up and say, this isn't worth it. Either pay us properly or we're going.
Hang on, does that give me advantage on the roll?
I will give you advantage on the roll, yes.
And a d4.
And a d4.
Hang on, let me roll a d4.
No, man.
How the hell do you get two?
Good grief.
You do have inspiration, which will allow you to roll both of those d20s.
Yeah,
if you wanted to.
I do. Yeah, go on then.
Go on then. Roll.
I thought it were 2 5s again.
Yeah, so did I. Well, no need to take that tone, sir. Okay, I can. I'll tell you what we'll do. 100 gold pieces for 2 weeks of your time, and 1,000 gold pieces between you, not each, if you can solve the problem. If, of course, there is a problem to solve.
What do we think, folks?
That number sounds better.
It does sound a lot better, and he's given us his time. He's fed us well. He's been a proper potential employer.
Yeah, but we don't know what solving the problem means. We don't even know what the problem is yet.
Well, we don't have to solve the problem, provided we can identify it. He will pay us the money that he agreed. If we can solve it, then it's a bonus.
Helga's grown a moustache.
Big bushy one.
Yes, indeed.
I'll attempt to smooth his nerves a little by saying, forgive my companion's directness. It is very useful when we're out in the Wilderlands, you understand, which only suggests that we are worth the money you're willing to pay.
Well, yes. So we're agreed then, gentlemen, madams, ladies. 100 gold pieces each, 50 up front now, and 50 on your return, and then 1,000 gold pieces if you can bring proof that you've solved the problem.
My companions have some orders at your stores. Would you perhaps be able to expedite them for us so that we could get to your work sooner?
There's some good thinking.
I could definitely do so. If you give the details of these orders to Matthias, he will make it happen for you. Absolutely. He goes to stand. So we are in agreement.
I sit back down.
If you wouldn't mind waiting 10 more minutes or so, I'll have the contract drawn up.
Don't like the idea of a contract, but very well.
I like the idea of a contract with.
Well, madam, no contract. How would you know that you
I'm not saying that.
out loud? Okay. Is that acceptable?
It is.
Don't
yes.
forget, you were given a contract by. I forgot his name now. The wizard,
yeah.
in Sea Strand.
It's fairly normal for this world then on these
yes,
yeah.
Contracts for agreed jobs and things is fairly common.
And like I said, dealing with somebody like him, I would prefer a contract because at least then we have the paper to say he said he'd pay what he's going to pay.
Yes, we have some legal recourse as opposed to just smashing his house up.
Yeah.
And that legal recourse would be to take representation either to the mayor here or to the Baron himself at Gastonfold.
I think we'd skip the mayor.
Yeah, you probably would skip the mayor. Yeah. And okay, so you wait for about 10-15 minutes, and then Matthias comes back in with a bag, quite a hefty bag, and a piece of parchment. And the parchment is a basic contract. You agree. You, the undersigned, agree to provide Lord Darius Carmen approximately up to 14 days of your time at a rate of 50 gold pieces a week, 50 gold pieces of which will be paid up front, 50 gold pieces will be paid at the end of the second week, to investigate to the best of your abilities the reasons for the swamp to grow.
What does it say in case we are late on the contract?
I'll get to that in a second.
Sorry.
In addition, should you identify the reason for the swamp to grow and can provide proof that you have stopped and if possible reversed the growth, a further 1,000 gold pieces will be given in as a total sum to the below mentioned individuals. Should the group not return in the appointed time, and it says basically by the a week in this game is 5 days, so actually it's 10 days. So by the 12th of Sweet Rain, then the additional 50 gold pieces will be forfeited, and the contract will be deemed to have been fulfilled with no further obligations on either party.
My only concern is that that's quite a long time to leave Jelaneth in the wind. So
it's fine. We'll sort that out whilst we're doing it.
Yeah, somebody write this down.
Yeah, Medi is. He's got a pen.
So what you know of the lie of the land, the swamp is 5 or 6 miles south of where you are, extends a further sort of maybe 15 miles westward.
it's not, it's not like we're going to take 3 days to get there. It's going to be a
day to get there maximum, half a day to get there maximum, and then depending on how fast you traverse around the edge of the swamp, whether you want to go to Ryefield, that could take you maybe a week to do that. If you do it slowly and carefully, probably take you 2 or 3 days if you do it quickly. And then depending on if you want to go into the swamp, that's where your time sink will be.
Mm.
But you could easily investigate all of that within 5 days and have a pretty thorough understanding of what might have happened.
Okay.
Right.
Which will then give us 5 days to possibly solve it or move on.
Yeah.
Okay. That seems reasonable.
All right.
Well, we should get to work, and we'll drop that list for Matthias, and I think it's probably the armor and the hammer. I think that's all we've got, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think so.
Are you each going to sign the contract?
Yep.
Yeah,
Sure.
fine.
Okay.
Big cross.
Yeah, that's fine. And
do you know? Oh God.
so Matthias then seals the contract with a wax seal and hands it over to one of you, along with a bag containing. How many of you are in the party? 7 5s, 350 gold pieces.
Hey.
Note that individually, then, right?
Yeah.
We'll just split it individually now, the 50 each, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Add 50 gold pieces to your character sheet. And then you are escorted back outside. Oh, dear.
What's the time? We are at 1:25 p.m. Okay.
Sorry, I'm just going to skip that a little bit further forward. It's probably closer to 2 o'clock. In fact, it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
It's a pretty quick lunch.
Yeah, your lunch was about an hour, and then you had maybe 45 minutes of chat and drink in the drawing room with him. Maybe a bit longer, maybe 2-hour lunch, actually. Yeah, close to it. Yeah, actually, probably a 2-hour lunch. So, yeah, let's call it 2:30 in the afternoon.
So, when we'll be able to pick up the armor and the mace?
You can probably bring them forward by 1 day. So the maul would be tomorrow, and the armor would be the 4th.
Or let's head out in the morning with the maul, maybe?
Well, perhaps we can investigate this farm in the meantime. It's only a short distance out of town, isn't it? With the obelisk?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we do need to speak to Taustra as well before we go.
Yes, before we go. That's a good point. Yeah, we're just down the hill from his place, aren't we? 'Cause up there.
Unless we want to go out first and then have a look at his farm, then come back and speak to Taustra when it's getting dark and maybe take him for a drink with us at the inn.
I think that sounds like a good idea.
It's like an excellent idea.
All right, then let's head out towards this farm.
So the journey to the farm takes you out eastwards along the main road, out of Noltec. and then you kind of continue eastwards as the road kind of sweeps to the north. You follow a track that joins that road to the east. It travels for literally a quarter of a mile, maybe just over a quarter of a mile, and then you can see a modest-sized farm, a little bit bigger than some of the buildings in town, probably twice the size of Cooper's farm. There appears to be a barn, a house, a 2-story wooden house, smoke coming out of the chimney. Over to one side, a copse of trees, kind of going off into a sort of a small dip in the ground, in the land, and a wood down there. Somewhere out of sight, you can hear the steady sound of wood being chopped. And as you kind of approach the farm, there's a man is currently with a big pitchfork in his hand, and he's kind of pulling up straw and putting it into a big mound. There are chickens running around. There are pigs running around. There's a couple of cows loose, several sheep loose. Just a kind of an eclectic mix of traditional animals kind of scattered around this kind of enclosed area as you approach. As you get closer, you watch as this man kind of clocks you, and then the pitchfork goes in, comes up slowly, rotates, goes into kind of a more of a defensive stance, and then he brings up his fingers to his mouth and he lets out a long whistle.
I'm gonna wave in a friendly fashion at him.
The chopping stops. Yes, hello. How are you? Who are you? What are you doing at my land?
Hi, we were sent by Godron to have a chat with you.
Gerald, you mean?
Gerald, sorry. Are you Adrian?
That's me. Aye, that's me. And you watch from out of the barn comes almost the spitting image of Rage. The only difference is a darker wood and a bluish tint to the metallic parts of the body. He's carrying what would effectively pass as a great axe, but it's a lumber axe. And he's kind of resting it across his shoulders like that as he strides purposefully across the field and approaches Adrian and kind of just leaves it there and just stares passively at the group. He's probably... How tall's Rage?
6'7", I think.
Okay, so he's probably about 2 inches shorter than Rage.
6'6", so an inch.
Yeah, an inch shorter than Rage, but a similar stature. Yes, Adrian's the name. Gerald, you say?
Yes.
Yes, he said you had some concerns over an obelisk and some lights. Green lights.
I wouldn't call it an obelisk. I'd call it a strange pillar. But yes, obelisk, pillar, whatever. And he turns and he kind of, with his pitchfork, he points up past the farm to one of the hills that you can see out in the distance. And there does appear to be a slight bump at the top of the hill. Yes, it's up there, about 2 or so miles away.
Has it always been there?
It's been there for a while. Certainly as long as I've had the farm, yes. But it's just recently that it's... I've noticed some strange light emanating from it, and, well, I'm a bit too old these days to go and investigate, and I can't afford to let Lumber here go and take a look, so I mentioned it to Gerald in the hope that he could muster up a posse. Seems like he's done a job.
Are the disturbances at any particular times, or
mostly sundown?
Well, it seems we've arrived in time then.
What do you see exactly, apart from the greenish light?
Just a green light, flickering, pulsing, Like it's alive. The party does that, does it?
Yeah, it's not got my character on it, has it?
No. Oh, that's interesting. I can't say I've seen another one of lumber. What's yours called?
He's called Rage.
And he's not ours. He's one of us.
His own.
He's not property.
No.
None of us are property.
My name's Lumber.
Hello, Lumber.
Where are you from, Lumber?
I don't know.
Quick question. Slavery, common, legal?
Legal, common.
Okay.
Some places, not all places.
But within these lands?
This part, slavery is not too common.
Okay, but it's not like it's totally outlawed and yeah.
No, I would say in some instances people willingly sell themselves into servitude and indenture. Yeah,
just like to get out of debt and whatnot.
And most of this area, because it's all part of the overlord's lands, it's more of a serfdom kind of approach than anything. If, for instance, the Overlord raided the barbarian lands to the south, they might capture live prisoners and enslave them. So it's that's probably that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If you go across the ocean, or further north or further south, you will most likely come across a lot more slavery in a lot more harsher conditions.
Right, okay.
So I kind of see this area as being semi-Dark Ages, early medieval, with a hint of barbarian, a Viking, right? And then other parts would be more Arabic or Middle Eastern, that kind of stuff. And then there's another part of the world which is very much dragon orientated. You don't want to be there unless you've got a reason to mess with dragons.
Does Lumber look as if he's kind of well looked after?
Yeah, there's not a mark on him. He looks absolutely fine.
Good health and whatever.
Well, as far as you can tell from a Warforged, yeah, he's not bleeding anything, and yeah, he just I do not know where I came from. I've been here 3 years.
And how did you end up to be in servitude to this man?
It is a arrangement that suits us both.
So it's voluntary on your part.
He
pays me in kind. Oh, yes, I do. I found him up in the hills, about 10 miles northeast of here. So where would that be? So probably somewhere on 4316, 4215 border, near the river there. Yeah, I found him up in the hills about 3 years ago. All battered and bruised he was. Looked like it I don't know. Looks like I don't know where he'd come from.
Do I get the sense that he feels guilty about the arrangement?
Insight check. You haven't a clue.
I'm got a clue. Bad roll.
Yeah, not a great roll. And ever since Lumber has offered me his help.
What does he get out of it?
He gets a place to stay.
If he doesn't know where he's from, how does he know what his name is?
I cut wood. Therefore, I'm Lumber.
Oh, right, okay.
He's being used as a tool, just like we call an axe an axe.
I don't mean anything by it. I mean, he's. I thought he was the only one of his kind.
No. We're a sentient being, and you've basically enslaved him. And you've had 3 years of free labour.
What does he do? Sorry, have I missed something? What's his job here? that you've given him to do?
Presume he chops wood and you sell it in Noltak.
That's just basically it.
He helps with the animals. He keeps the farm running. He's handy with his hands, so he mends things and moves things when they need moving. He doesn't eat. Rarely sleeps.
I presume there's no sign of like a chain or any kind of fencing or anything like that to stop him.
No, nothing. No outward sign of slavery.
I asked Lumber, does he remember anything before he was sort of discovered, so to speak?
I awoke
to
see Adrian tending my injuries. I do not remember anything other than floundering.
Okay.
Like I was struggling to escape from a net or something restrictive.
I kind of put a slightly, hopefully calming arm on Rage's shoulder by probably standing on my tiptoes because I'm quite short, and just say, look, he doesn't seem to have come to harm, and he's not being forcibly held here. But perhaps we should.
He knows no better. He is a child.
I don't disagree with you, but at least he's safe here.
He'd be safe on the road.
Where would I go? What would I do? Who would I be with?
You're an individual, Lumber. One, pick a name that you want. Keep Lumber if you want.
Lumber suits me.
Then keep it. But maybe find a new name. Go out. Use your skills. Try and remember where you came from. That's what I'm trying to do.
Discover your past.
You are like me?
I woke up a year ago. I was fortunate in that I remembered a little bit more, but not much more.
We family?
Of a kind. Of a kind.
Lumber doesn't have family other than Adrian.
You are older than this land here.
He looks at Adrian, and for a moment, you all notice a slight panic come across Adrian's face. And he takes a sort of an involuntary half step backwards. But Lumber likes it here. Adrian, a nice person.
He may well be. But he's used you.
Oh, I don't think I've used him. I just
used him.
Adopted him as my son.
So you're really?
Yes.
You've not used him as cheap labour that you don't have to feed. You don't really have to clothe. You don't have to tend to. You don't pay.
He's never asked for money. I'd give him money if he asked for it.
He doesn't know any better. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what he is.
He probably doesn't even know what money's for.
What is money?
So he just told
You
you.
don't need money, Adrian.
What does this farm put out? What's its produce?
Lumber.
No, not so much. It's a mixture of fresh meat and probably corn or something, or some kind of arable grain product.
So lumber, you look after and you tend to the fields. You maybe even slaughter the cattle, and all that, or some of it may get shipped to the town where it's sold for money, which then Adrian will use to buy himself things, improve the farm, and he takes that as a wage, a profit. Normally when somebody does a task, they get paid money for their time.
Why have I not been paid money for my time, Adrian?
Does Adrian look like he's lived a hard life of work and is continuing to live a hard life of work, or is he looking a little bit paunchy and?
No, very muscular. You can see calluses on his hand. He certainly puts the hours in, as far as you can tell.
Probably still does a job, but
I will point this out to Rage and say I don't think the intention is to fully take advantage of him. This man is.
What would you call using a sentient being free of charge, taking advantage of their lack of knowledge of what they are?
I don't disagree with you, but perhaps this man does not know how to treat him any better and does not know how to help him. He's just given him somewhere to live at least and helped him with his injuries.
He didn't do it out of the goodness of his heart. Maybe initially to help him, but after a week, after a month, he should have come clean. If he was looking after him as his son, that's what he would have done. He's used him as a bull.
I agree his conditions must be improved. Why did you not take him into Noltec? There is a wizard in Noltec who may have been able to help.
I did take him into Noltec, but they'd never seen his kind before and didn't quite know what it was. It was Tauster himself that suggested perhaps he was some kind of wizard's creation that had been lost.
Rage, have you ever been able to get back any of your memories?
I have very few. This is what I'm trying to discover. I'm searching out my real name. I'm searching out my real purpose. And I know my real purpose would not be to be sat on a farm tending lumber and cows and corn.
Rage, don't you have the word raid inscribed into your chest or armor? You said or something, wasn't it?
It has a rune.
It's a rune that would essentially be that designation.
So it was given to you by whoever created it.
It's not my rune that's on my forehead, which changes when I rage now. It's actually on the side of my head. It's a designation.
Like a slave name or something, I suppose.
Maybe a design type.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah, because you'd be designed for fighting, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm not talking in-game about this, I'm just talking about I don't really know much about Warforged.
Yeah, same here.
What do you suggest Lumber does then?
If it's a problem, I can start paying him.
That would be a start.
He's free to come and go to town as often as he wants. I'm not stopping him. He just never expressed the desire to do so. I can give you a few copper a week, maybe a couple of copper a day or something. I don't have a lot of money.
A fair day's wage would be at least a silver. He could get 2 labouring anywhere else. Even I know that, and I've only been out of my home for a year.
Adrian pauses for a second, and he looks a little bit disconcerted over at the bard that's just playing a tune away by himself, slightly at the back, taking everything in. And he loses. He says, "I could do a silver. I could do a silver. I could do a silver a day. I could definitely do that. But Lumber, we will need to work a little bit harder together to make the farm a little bit more lucrative, if that's what you want me to give you." You have your own room in the house as it is, and if you want a bigger room, we can definitely do that. I can give you what you wish. These good folk have been very enlightening to me, and perhaps I have been taking advantage.
Rage, I don't think we can take him with us. He doesn't know enough yet.
I know where he is now.
Perhaps if we find out how to restore your memories, we can return and help him with his.
Maybe this meeting will kindle some of his.
Maybe we can check back in on him on the way back.
We will check back. That I have no doubt.
We're only going up there.
It's 2 miles away. Well, perhaps we've caused enough commotion for this afternoon, and if we help you with your issue, we expect you to treat Lumber with care as you would any other person in the town, or perhaps even his family.
We will check back in on you.
Maybe, Adrian, treat him as your child, as you would your child.
Teach him about the world as much as you know.
He sort of starts nodding. Yes, I will. I've definitely neglected. I've neglected in that, and forgive me. I'll do my best.
Do you talk and like time together?
We haven't done for a while, no.
Maybe that's a good way to start as well.
I never was lucky enough to have a son of my own.
Well, you both have much to learn in that case. I never knew my parents, so it would be nice for you to see this work, as I'd like to come back and see what it would be like.
You'll be welcome. There are some people that say your kind are evil and the progeny of the Emperor. I don't think that's true. I think you're a kind-hearted fellow.
I know it's
despite
not
appearances.
True. But thank you.
All of you, you're welcome at my farm whenever you wish.
Insight check.
Yeah, sure.
He wishes he hadn't asked about help for those lights now.
We're moving farms.
You use the party. Open your character sheet. Roll off the character sheet.
That's
wrong.
I don't even have any bonuses from this anyway.
Okay. Kelgar, he's terrified of you. He's terrified of the party. He knows full well that there is no way he could stop you from just taking his life if you are angry enough. And he's in particularly, he's a little bit, he's not a little bit, he is shitting himself every time he glances at Rage because he doesn't quite know what he's going to do. But he knows that he's in the wrong, and he's hiding it as best he can, but he knows that he's been milking something and treating him a little bit like a slave rather than like an equal or a son. And he's frightened now that you've kind of cowed him into admitting to himself that he's a bit of a shit.
Okay. Anyways.
But I'll say to Rage, is that enough for now? I agree, we can't leave.
We've got this job to do.
I understand you must have strong feelings about this, but as I said, in his current state, we can't take him with us yet.
Where are we heading?
Up the hill.
Well, let's go then.
We'll leave Adrian crapping his pants on, and we'll head up the hill.
As Rage walks off, he'll walk over to Lumber, put his hand on his shoulder, and go, Bivax's brother.
Did I get the sense that rage was close to violence there, or not? Or just angry?
You will have seen little sparks of energy forming on his skin, but not rage.
Okay. Cool. All right, we'll head up the hill. I just got the sense that you may have gone off the rails as I've seen you in combat and ended Adrian pretty swiftly.
Oh, it was more like controlled fury.
Okay.
All right. You head up the hill.
Jesus, that was really. I felt really awkward with that.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing, Dar?
I don't know. It was weird. It's kind of like, I didn't know it was going to go kind of almost political. I didn't realize that you can do that sort of stuff in D&D. I suppose it's kind of like good and evil. If you're playing an evil group, you wouldn't give a damn about that thing.
Well, don't.
What was that? Did you say welcome to D&D?
Yeah, welcome to the game, mate.
Yeah, because even evil characters may be evil, but if this came across something like that, which didn't fall within, it's something. Yeah, it's something grounded in them, so they still may react.
Yep, very well done.
Conversely, the evil party could just run the slaving ring. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
I suppose some, evil characters would start off being slaves probably, and then would wanted to kill everybody.
Crime syndrome. Turn into slavers themselves. One of the things that I always like is if I can get a reaction like I've got from you, running a little thing like that, then I know I've done a good job. Right? If I get a reaction from a group at something that I've put in front of them, to me, it's a job well done, because you can't feign those kind of reactions. And it's like last weekend when we were at our lodge game, I threw a little thing at the group. The river parted as one of the characters stepped onto the water, and no word of a lie, the player just goes, "What the fuck?" out of the blue, because he just didn't expect it. And to me, those little moments are really, really cool. Obviously, if we're doing something and you feel really uncomfortable because it's touching a nerve, something that you don't agree with, just say stop, or just say, "Can we just stop this?" You don't need to explain why, and we'll just get over it, right? But
it can go behind the curtain then.
Yeah, if something's happening that you don't agree with, that you don't genuinely feel upset, or it's triggering something in you that's not pleasant, just tell me to stop, and we'll move on. There are things I won't do, and I think we're all grown up to know there are things that happen in the real world that you should never really trivialize in a D&D game. So certainly things with children I avoid completely, because I've got kids, and I know most of us here have got children, grown up or otherwise. So we probably, the closest I get might be putting a child in harm's way, right? And you have to make a snap decision to save them. That's generally okay. But other than that, things will happen, because things happen in real world, and you have to decide how to react to them. But yeah, if I genuinely make you feel uncomfortable, really uncomfortable with something, Dart, and you'd rather we stop, don't be afraid to say so, because I don't think anybody here would be offended by us just fading to black and moving on.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, we all enjoyed exploding puppy dogs, didn't we?
We
must pick those up at some point.
Exploding puppy dogs.
Absolutely. For those, oh god.
Did you order
those? Get collected?
We did. Well, Carmen did.
We didn't go back to pick up.
I think they're in Sunderland, aren't they? They're probably done by now.
Yeah, they're ready. They've cooked. They're ready to go.
We're going to get back to Sunderland, and it's just going to be a big crater in the ground. too much explosives in those puppy dogs.
Kurgan, or was it?
Yes, Kurgan ordered puppy dogs to explode.
Yes, he did.
I've forgotten about that. Yeah.
I think Kurgan secretly is the darkest party member.
He's not. He's not.
He's just so socially awkward, right?
No, he's a very
He's awkward.
pragmatic
Everybody
guy.
else feels awkward.
No, he's uncomplicated. He's very pragmatic. He's an ex-soldier that's very confused by what's happened to him, and his way of dealing stuff used to be hit it over the head and see if that solves the problem. So he's trying to deal with a whole bunch of stuff that he doesn't really understand at the moment.
Yeah.
And he doesn't make friends easily either. You may have noticed that.
No, he just tends to take everything head on.
Somebody who is trained in survival, give me a survival roll.
I'm trained, but I think Jet's better, so I'll assist.
Advantage.
Well,
I've got. What's the one tick? Does that mean you're
Trained.
proficient?
Can I just say that I'm still suffering from exhaustion, so it might be better if somebody else did.
Are you still suffering? Where did you get exhaustion from?
Because I died twice. Or I fell down twice.
Yeah.
I mean, one left because I had long rest.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
One hit, flaming cone of
burning hands. Yeah. It wasn't pretty.
Oh yeah.
That
was harsh.
Does somebody else have a?
I am trained in survival as well.
I'm trained, but does that give me advantage or
doesn't give you advantage? No.
Somebody who is trained assists somebody else, then they get advantage.
Yeah, so I'm trained. Can Jet assist?
Can I assist?
Well, either Jet or
yeah, I can assist if you like.
Sounds like there's 4 of you all trained in survival, so one person roll and roll with advantage.
Right.
Okay.
I'll roll with advantage.
My wisdom is not great, so you go for it.
D4.
Okay.
There's another 3 on top of that.
15. Okay. Ember picks up the pace and kind of follows in the directions that Adrian had pointed out to you, sort of up in the hill, Very soon she finds a path that you can traverse, and it's a steady climb. The hill that you're going up is a fairly tall hill. Let's have a look. It's probably, let's say, fairly tall. But actually, it's about 1,800 feet above sea level. So roughly the size and height of Pendle Hill, if any of you have been there.
Nope. Yep, been there.
As you kind of crest the top of the hill, you can see what the lump is that you could see from a distance. It looks like, well, let me show you. As I pull you to the pillar. So as you crest the top of the hill, there is another sort of plateau. The hill itself is quite barren and sparse of vegetation. There's a few bushes here and there, but then there is as I said, there's a plateau, probably sort of 10 or so. Oh God, nobody can see anything.
What? It's 3 in the afternoon and there's no light. That's weird.
Yeah, I can see fine. It's just all the scrubs, right?
Yeah, it's just the. Oh wow. Okay.
There you go. Now you can see things a bit better.
Oh my word!
It's probably taken you 2.5 hours to get here. The pillar, the so-called pillar, sits atop a plateau, which sits atop of this hill. The plateau itself is probably 10 feet high. Atop that plateau, you can see more lush vegetation, and then the pillar that's kind of rising up, almost in the center. Around the pillar appears to be lots of bones, including skeleton bones. Well, you can't technically see. You can see it because you can see it on the map from where you are, but you can't see it from where you are currently until you get up there and have a look.
Can we see the blood from down here?
No,
on the side of the pillar?
No, you can just see the pillar rising up. You'd have to climb to the top to really get a view of what's going on up there.
I think we have to go up, won't we, to actually be able to see
Was this like a sort of a natural staircase on the left, or?
It is a natural staircase, yes.
Okay.
Right, now as you get to the top, you can see what appears to be this pillar, a bunch of bones, including some skeleton bones, some old, mouldy, yellowing skeletal remains kind of half poking out of the grass. The grass itself seems to be trampled where you can see the blood stains, and there's blood stains on kind of like a plinth in front of the pillar that's kind of rising up. So if you think of this as a plinth, and this is the pillar itself.
How fresh is the blood?
Read my mind.
Give me a medicine check, please.
Well, I certainly will. Where is it? There it is.
Can I hear any bears around
I'm
us?
half trained in medicine. Does that allow me to give Dave advantage?
Yeah, have advantage.
I'll just roll again then, I guess.
Ooh.
So that's 18 and a 21, because the 3 added bonus from guidance.
The blood appears to be within the last 2 or 3 days. It's sticky. So in the grass, it's certainly still quite sticky. On the stone itself, it's less so.
I'll relay that information.
That's very
quite
disconcerting.
But the
Yes.
pillar is a very tall pillar. Probably rises about 40 or 50 feet. Probably 40 feet into the air. It's crooked and spotted with lichen, rising from a crude pedestal in the middle of a green field. Bones litter the ground all around it, suggesting it might be an altar of some kind. The pillar has a lumpy appearance. As you get closer, Ember, you realise that the pillar, the lumpy appearance of the pillar is because it appears to be a giant column of stone eyes.
Do I recognise the significance of eyes? Is it a religious symbol?
Not real eyes, but
carved, I presume.
carved. I was thinking
Stone eyes. Let's have a look. So you know that Odin is represented by a never blinking blue eye, but there's no signs of blue here. And these don't look like they're non-blinking. Anything else? No.
Could I perhaps cast my mind back in the history that I've learned to see if there's anything? I mean, I'm not from this area, but if there's anything in it that I've read in a book somewhere.
Yeah, give me a history check, please. Ember, what are you looking for?
I don't know. I don't know, actually. Good point.
Investigating around the sort of the pedestal that this this pillar is sat upon. There are trinkets, there are broken bones and things like that scattered all over it. The blood, as I say, is sort of fresh, but not massively fresh. The other thing that you notice is that on the run up from the stairs to the blood-soaked grass, it has been trampled down, and it's been trampled down before you.
Can I see what tracks there were?
Give me a survival roll.
Can I do
Mixture. Eyes. I mean, eyes
No.
could be all sorts of things. Beholders have eyes. What else?
I'm just kind of crouching down, beginning to ritually cast Detect Magic.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do an Arcana check as well, see if anything, if I can recall anything, or I don't know.
There are plenty of aberrant monsters that have more than one eye. A lot of them kind of fall in that beholder kind of category, but none of the beholders.
Sacrificial altar type of thing.
It looks like it, yeah. None of the beholders that you're aware of would look anything like this with this many eyes.
No. These skeletons, are they too old for the fresh blood?
Yes, they've got grass growing on them and things like that.
So,
they're anything up to.
They still have flesh on them.
So my next question would be: is where's the bodies from that caused this blood? And I'll say that to the party as we wander around and look. This blood's fresh, but there's no fresh corpse.
It'd be another investigation check.
Do we know what type of blood it is? I mean, what species?
Humanoid,
I
most
will
probably.
assist Medi with that.
Okay, roll again, Medi. Have an investigation. Have advantage.
Thank you
very much.
Amongst the grass, you find a piece of flesh. But it's more muscle than skin.
I will point this out to to everyone, but mainly to L'Oreal.
Not taking my attention off the ritual that I'm currently casting.
Sorry, you're casting a ritual. My apologies.
I kind of half nod, just so it's recognizing that I've heard, but I'm continuing casting my ritual.
Okay. So that's going to take 10 minutes. So anybody else do anything in the next?
I ran an Arcana check, only got an 11 on it though.
Arcana doesn't really. No, nothing triggers with your Arcana.
Is there anything else sort of noteworthy now that I'm kind of up on the plinth, I guess, next to the...
The view's quite good. You can see down the valley into Noltec from up here.
Okay.
Wow.
You can just make out Adrian's farm.
What were the lights that they said that... Was it blue lights?
Green lights, right?
Green
They
lights.
appear at sundown.
Flickering green lights at sundown, yes.
Yeah, so it feels like we should kind of count down till sundown and prepare ourselves, just before, get ready for whatever the hell's going to appear.
Yeah.
I was going to suggest maybe popping a trap or something. Our resident hunter, if you can put something down here.
I've got a trap on me.
Medistra, the flesh, as you examine it, looks to be a piece of heart.
Right.
Of doom.
Human.
Human?
It makes you wonder if they're... And again, I'll whisper this out loud. Makes you wonder if they're cutting out people's hearts and maybe... Well, I was going to say eat them, but are there any tooth marks or anything on this heart, on this piece of heart?
Doesn't appear to be.
No bite marks. It's just literally been cut.
Well, do you know what? There would be bite marks on it now, but not human bite marks. Yeah. They look like animal bite marks, like rats and stuff like that.
Any signs on the bones that are littered around of cuts or gnawing or the type of damage that they've sustained?
Give me a medicine check.
No, balls.
You asketh, I giveth to you. Not bad. Around the rib cage, roughly where heart would be, there are clean incisions in the bone.
Okay. So we've got a bunch of weird fuckers cutting out hearts for some ritual. Are they summoning something, or...?
L'Oreal, it's about now that your detect magic goes off.
I'm placing a trap here.
But I would like you to roll me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Yes.
Come on, L'Oreal.
Probably fair. Gotta let a nice little bit of eldritch horror into your brain for every now and again, right?
Exactly.
Way forward.
Whereabouts is it? Is it just... Oh, I can probably do it from the top, can't I? So,
yeah.
Wisdom.
I should let me roll that for you and force you to do it. Okay, pretty good. Your detect magic goes off. The pillar immediately radiates the strongest necromantic magic you have ever come across. So much so that it burns into your head. And for a second, you see the face of a one-eyed... Well, you see a deathly looking one-eyed face stare right through your soul. And then a hand, well, what should be a hand comes into view. But instead of a hand, it's an empty stump. And it seems to reach inside your...
If it's reaching towards me, I'm going to stop concentration.
And at that point, you let out a girly scream and stop concentrating, and it just drops.
I will relay the image that I just saw to the rest of the group.
Wait, the hand was coming out of what? The pillar?
It was a imagine...
I know, sorry, I meant a stumped hand. But
was coming it was coming into view from a black sleeve, heading towards L'Oreala's chest.
From the pillar?
I'm going to explain but I think something knows we're here. Whoever this necromancer was may have detected my...
Perception checks, please.
Everybody.
Yeah. As L'Oreala's saying that, everybody give me a perception check.
God fucking hell.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, you're all shite tonight. L'Oreala, just as you say the whole, I think something's watching us, you pause for a second. You can hear the distinct braying of wolves getting closer.
I'm saying we've got company. I can hear wolves coming.
And then streaking across from the northeast.
I'm drawing my shield.
Northwest. You see what appears to be 5 goblin wolf riders. And that is where we end tonight.
Dun dun dun.
Can they get up onto this plinth from there, or do they have to go up the stairs?
My trap's here, by the way. Remember.
Your trap is there, is it? Okay, so what we'll do is we will do this. The ember.
Or should I should have put it here, to be honest. Never mind.
You can put it... Would you have put it there?
Actually, no, I probably would have.
In the grass, yeah.
I've got a hunting trap, but I don't know whether I've got time to set it.
Okay.
Well, to be fair, I did say a while ago.
You haven't done anything, have you? So yes, I'd give you time to set it.
But then I'll have disadvantage in setting it, won't I? Because I'm exhausted, so I probably wouldn't.
Oh, do you need to make a roll to set it? Is it a survival roll?
No, there isn't. It's just that they have to roll when they step on it.
Okay.
Oh, is it? Okay.
You just use your action to set it.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So where would you like to have set yours, Jeff?
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Well, I can see that Dart's placed his there. So I'm just wondering whether it's better to actually place it in front of me.
So you'll place yours there. All right. Okay. Did we enjoy tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's good, thanks.
I said to Sorrentart earlier today, I said, I'm going to throw him a little bit of a curveball. And I hope it was a curveball that I throw at you. It was a good one.
gosh.
I thought it was time to introduce at least one of the Warforged, so we can start figuring out what part they play in the world.
Because there's one other I've heard of, which is the pirate.
Pirate, yeah,
Yeah.
to the south. So yeah, there we go. Welcome back, everybody.
I thought those choice of songs are very good, by the way. I just googled them.
Does L'Oreal have a clue who she's just seen?
I do have a clue who she's just seen.
You have a clue.
As L'Oreal, probably not.
Yeah, as a player, yeah, you've got a good idea who you've just seen, haven't you?
Yeah, and yeah, I am evacuating my bowels.
Who have you seen?
There was 2 clues, so if you picked up on the clues, you'd be able to Google it and figure it out.
Yeah, I think I've read about this before and stuff.
Definitely, Kelgar would, when L'Oreal gets time to recover and describe what she saw,
He'll have heard a story or two.
I would definitely have a story about this. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, awesome.
Hey Zed, on this map, do they have to come up through those steps where they put the traps?
Remember I said the plateau's 10 foot tall, so it's whether the wolves can jump up the 10 foot.
Okay. So I'm either really well placed or really terribly placed.
If you've watched Lord of the Rings, you'll know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
So I was going to stand over here all alone.
So yeah, so we'll start next week with a fight.
Yay!
Stand on top of the pillar. How tall is the pillar, by the way?
40 feet high.
All right. Isn't that
Can the wolves jump that high?
the column's 50 feet, isn't it?
Probably not 40 feet high, but at least 30.
So the plateau is 10 feet high, the pedestal is 10 feet high, and the pillar itself is 40 feet high. So to the top of the pillar from the ground...
It's 1,850 feet.
Well, yeah, if you're taking ground sea level, is 60 feet from here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought, how big's Pendle Hill? And that'll do as the hill size here. So there we go. And there are some hills that are bigger than that. So the highest hill in the differing hills is probably close to 3,000 feet. I don't quite know when a hill becomes a mountain in terms of height. If there's a defined size.
There was a film about that, wasn't there?
There was, yeah.
Wasn't there a pub that was like they thought they were on top of a mountain, but it was actually a hill?
Was that a Hugh Grant film?
Is it like something like walking up a mountain, coming down a hill, or something daft like that?
The village wanted it to be designated as a mountain, but it was.
That's right. Yeah. There to find, stick a few rocks on the top of it to make it a mountain.
Oh yeah, the 1995 movie by Hugh Grant.
600 meters. It says. In some conditions, but
so the recognised threshold is 2,000 feet. So okay, so there would be a couple of mountains technically in the differing hills.
Okay.
So this one isn't classed as a mountain because it's below 2,000 feet. Or depending on where you look at it. So something else here says it's 2,500. So I think 2,500 meters is probably a realistic height for a mountain.
In the UK, it's 300 meters, 984 feet. It's got to have an identifiable summit.
Right. Okay.
Either way, it's the last time I look at any pillars again.
You wait till you. I don't. Yeah. Let's see what happens. See where that particular vision goes for L'Oreal. So, Soren, I sent you a private message. Did you get it?
I did, and I've thought of something, so I'll run it by you.
Yeah, no worries. That's fine. I want to try and start bringing in bits of people's background and backstory as we go forwards. So, if there's anything that you want me to consider, just let me know. Like, I'm interested in exploring Kelgar's background, especially his newly discovered patron of evil music. I'm thinking maybe your patron is, I'm thinking your patron might be Ronnie James Dio or something like that.
Quite possibly.
I've got some ideas. I need to expand a little bit on your vision, Kurgan, so I'm going to think about that. And so over the next few sessions, I'm going to drop little snippets in for each of you that are relevant to your characters.
Right.
The Hand of Vekna?
And the guy has finally got it.
There we go. Yeah, I was just like, I know where this is going. Oh God, get me out of this.
The Realm's Eye and the Hand of Vekna.
The Hand and Eye of Vekna. Two very powerful artifacts.
Wasn't one of them last year, a couple of years ago, in one of the big
Critical Role?
Yeah, was it Critical Role? Was it?
That's right. Yeah.
Descent to Avernus has what's his name? Who's the guy? Manganella's character in there.
Have any spoilers, please? Because I still haven't watched the full first season yet.
You still haven't got it, yeah.
Wait, what's this? What are we talking about?
Critical Role.
Okay.
But the Descent to Avernus has Joe Manganiello's character in it after the events of Critical Role. So technically, the events that happened in that episode of Critical Role are strictly D&D canon.
Which is pretty
So
goddamn
actually,
cool.
that might be a bad guy to drop into the game. Who knows?
Shush.
No.
So there's
Which
also
episode is that?
it's about episode 140. So I think 147 is the last one, so it's probably 146 or 145, one of those two. It's the second to last episode, and it's fucking awesome.
The Deck of Many Things.
That's great fun.
Nope.
Not to be mixed up with your porn collection of the...
Just because it'd be fun, I think we should give Ember the Deck of Many Things.
No, it would be campaign ending.
Magi, the Orb of Dragonkind,
Are
Talisman.
you just reading a list of artifacts now?
Is this the shopping list? This?
Most powerful items in D&D, and it's got in a list of the top 10, apparently.
Technically,
And
need this.
Hand of Vekna are on that list,
Need
right?
this.
You can also read most dangerous items to player characters in D&D.
The Sword of
It's the same list.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Now that looks like a happy pussy.
Can you say for me, welcome, Mr. Bond?
Bone.
Are we all good for next week?
Yeah,
Have we got see you next week, Kel?
Yeah, I will be away. I think the week after that, from memory. But you guys can just you can bot him or bring in what's it called, Seaboard to play if you want.
Yeah, I may be at karate next week.
No worries.
Judo chop.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's 100% the curriculum.
The Austin Powers School of Karate.
Study his moves.
Did we have an audience of at all tonight, Mehdi?
We do. We have 7 people watching at the moment, if you'd like to
Nice.
say anything.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the game.
Is that not just us watching the stream in the background?
I'm not watching.
Big shout out to Iraz, who raided us with a party of 11.
Nice.
That'll do.
Thanks.
It's my 2-month sub anniversary.
Oh, thank you, Dart. Do you know what you get for that? You get a happy clap with no volume, because I can't hold the button down.
right, that's worth everything.
I mean, we could also give him the hand and the eye of Vekna and just see what he does with it.
No.
Oh man. So yeah.
No, again, Zed, thank you very much. An amazing evening, an amazing story. Thank you.
That's good. Glad you all enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Great fun. It was great to be back as well.
And some lovely
It
role
is definitely
playing.
good to be back. I love running for you guys because you keep me on my toes, and I didn't think you'd go the swamp first. Thankfully, you didn't. And then when you said the swamp, I'm like, one thing I haven't built maps for yet is the swamp. And then you said we're going to go to the pillar. It's like, yeah, great. That's exactly where I wanted you to go.
Well, I thought a little bit of DM signposting earlier to that.
Well, no, it gives you some ideas of things to go and investigate that are interesting for you, perhaps, that could open some other, interesting story arcs, etc.
Oh, I'm sure this pillar could.
This pillar's just a little side quest.
I'm thinking about getting the hell away from it as quickly as possible.
I tell you what, the Deck of Many Things looks quite awesome.
Keep reading.
It's not dark, trust me, it's not. It's one of the few things that remains in 5th edition that's an instant kill for a character.
Oh, if you draw death.
Yes. Yeah.
But it refreshes if you get the Joker, so that means you're always going to die. That's a bit stiff.
Well, that's if you decide to take a full deck all at once and see what happens.
How many cards are you taking? All of them.
Look at what happened when Grog gets the Deck of Many Things and the reaction of the party when he is opening and pulling out the cards. And that tells you all you need to know about the Deck of Many Things.
Yep.
What episode's that?
It's all over the place. There's lots of episodes. I can't remember where he finds it, but after that, there's some really funny bits. And then there's an entire one-shot that they do afterwards where Grog pulls a card and gets teleported to a new plane. And I think it's they have to go find Grog. Might be Grog's missing or something. And so they did an entire one-shot about the party, the rest of Vox Machina going to find him, which is pretty good as well. So yeah, the Deck of Many Things is very, very good.
So I'm going to duck out. It's 11:30 over here.
No worries.
You remember that stream? Twitch got leaked.
Yeah.
It showed where everyone was ranked in who got the most money.
Critical Role's at the top.
Was below the top.
We were second.
We were second. If only that were the case.
All right,
folks.
Thanks again, Zed.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Cheers, guys.
See you next week.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cheers again.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.